Hello and welcome to Hello Sisters TV. Thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of our interview with Miss Roslyn Quaidoo.
Tell us about Michael. When did Michael come in?
Wow, when did Michael come in? So me and Michael have been in a relationship for about a year.
Is it a year?
Yes, it's a year.
Already?
I know. Woo! And
Wow.
there's speed that has happened in a year.
Acceleration!
Hey! No, but where did I start?
Actually, I want to touch on that speed.
Okay.
Because you, in particular, when you were in the world, you really struggled in terms of timings, right?
Yeah.
It was a problem for Roslyn. Roslyn, do not even take this the wrong way. You always felt like you were behind.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. So she, like...
No, all the time.
Because literally from education...
I'm telling you.
You know...
To work.
She always felt like she was behind and she had to work extra hard to accomplish anything. You know, needing more years to go through college, more years to do uni, working in retail when everybody's now moved into graduate roles. I mean, you felt Roslyn struggle, and you felt it because it's not like she was a slacker. You would see this girl slugging away in all these things. In her education, she puts the work in. You will see her doing voluntary work because you were doing, what was your course, sorry?
It was youth and community work. Yeah.
Right, so as part of her degree, she had to do placements.
Yes.
Placements is unpaid. So you have to work a certain number of hours to complete your placement, but then she would still work for money to keep herself going at university, plus attend classes. So the girl is working hard. She's not lazy. In fact, I'd say she's one of the most go-getting women I know.
Oh, thank
you.
you.
The girl does not sleep. She goes for it. Plus, she's a singer as well. Yeah. So she'll always have little things that she's doing. So it did come across as if, what's going on here? Why are you always behind? And it was a cry of hers. It was an issue that you had about yourself. Yeah. And then this is why her testimony is so amazing, because God has brought speed. God has brought so much speed to this girl's life, right? That I'm so excited, I'm not even letting the girl speak. But tell us about this speed. I just wanted to build the context so that you understand that this is only God. Because when she was out in the world, it looked like her life was constantly delayed and setback. And like things are just not going right. Yeah. And now, my goodness. Oh God. It's exciting. It is. Okay, go on. So this is what I mean by acceleration, because she's known the guy a year, and she's got a ring. Do you understand? And this is not a rush thing. Nobody needs papers. Everybody's got papers. No, let me just clarify.
I ain't pregnant.
And she ain't pregs. The guy just love her. The guy just love her. The guy's just been ordained by God. Do you understand? Like when God is in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Who can be
when
against
Jesus says yes, hey, nobody can say no.
Let's do bits there for you.
Let me tell you. So go on. You met him.
I met Michael through a family friend.
It was an introduction. Divine helpers.
Yes, divine help. Actually, let me start from the beginning. Let me give you guys the flow down and the low down.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, tell us more.
So I was at a church service and I brought my family friend along, and her name is Priscilla. So Priscilla, thank you very much once again.
She's one of the bridesmaids.
Yes, she is.
Pastor was preaching about a Priscilla in the Bible.
Correct.
And what was the story behind it?
And it was saying about how she was a helper.
Right.
And it was basically talking about how Priscilla was a helper and that we would find our Priscillas within ourselves as a divine helper. It just so happened that day that Priscilla was actually by my side.
Wow.
So
the same name.
Yeah, and her name was Priscilla.
Right.
And she was a divine helper. But it's funny because me and Priscilla had not been connected for quite a long time, but I knew she'd been brought into my life for a particular reason. I always said to her, you've revisited my life for a reason, because so many people that I've left in my past, that they're not coming back as far as I'm concerned. It's case closed. So I always knew that she was there for a purpose. Yeah. Priscilla went to a hen party and Michael was at
How long ago was this?
This is about
the church service.
The church service was March. I have it written down.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael and Priscilla had met, I would say, in July, summertime.
Okay,
July,
so
August.
a few months later.
Yeah.
Right.
She went to a function and he was at a function as well.
A hen party.
A hen party, and he was at a stag.
Okay.
They decided to join the hen and the stag together just to
spice things up as it goes. Yeah.
Lo and behold,
she caught the spirit over there. It's a Michael Dusty, yeah? Just talking about it.
So Priscilla, I was out on a night shift and Priscilla was telling me about a guy that she had met, but Priscilla's actually married. So
I remember you telling me when Priscilla and Michael met, Priscilla said to Michael, I know who you'll be good for.
Correct, yeah. So Priscilla actually told her, because he said, oh, I'm looking for a Ghanaian girl. You know, guys, how they just give the whole description. And she said, oh, how serious you are, because I've got a girl for you. And he was like, oh, please, please, please. But funny enough, Michael had never forgotten about the girl that Priscilla had told him about on that night.
Right.
So they hadn't spoken for about 2 months or 3 months.
So they exchanged numbers.
They exchanged numbers
right.
on that evening. Mm-hmm. And Priscilla had informed me that there was a guy. I just played it off like, not interested right now, you know, I'm married to God, innit? I'm trying to get myself right before I bring any man in my life to come and damage where God has brought me. Okay.
We'll come back to that.
Mm-hmm. So, cut long story short, exchanged numbers. Priscilla gave him my number, and the guy couldn't wait to. I started talking to the guy on the Wednesday. The Saturday, he said he's taking me out. That was our first date. But I mean, since then it's just been a journey. We've just been dating, and now I'm proposed. And now he's proposed to me. So I'm getting married though. I can't believe it.
Right.
Every time I say it, it just
so
gets
you guys
me.
just started talking.
We started talking. We started a few dates, and yeah, at the time, you know, he was brought up in a Christian background, but he wasn't. He hadn't given his life to Christ.
Like most of us, really.
He wasn't practicing Christianity, if I put it that way. But he came from a home where, you know, his mum was a minister and etc. So I kept trying to get him into church, and that was a struggle. Ladies, let me tell you something, that is a struggle. But let me tell you, keep praying, because God is listening to you, okay? And God will finally make that man surrender by force, by fire, if he is the one.
If he is the one. Get it right, because we don't want women now trying to drag men into church by force.
No, it will happen. It will happen. And God's timing was so correct. Even to the D-Day of when I met Michael, God's timing was correct. Because God was checking both of us. And if you look at where Michael was and where I was in terms of our lifestyle and our walk with Christ, and where God was just directing us, fair enough, he wasn't a Christian, but he was walking in that direction. So up until the time that I actually did meet him, God was directing him into the right path, just so he was ready for me. Because, you know, he's a bit of mandem, you know, and I needed a bit of mandem in my life, to be honest. I couldn't marry no one goody two shoes, you know what I mean? Like, anyway. But, yeah, God had to just cut certain things, even to the D-Day. So I do thank God highly for that. And he has surrendered to Christ, and he is a Christian right now. And we are serving God religiously.
Amen.
And we continue to do so after even our marriage. So, yeah.
What I find interesting is that when Michael, or when Priscilla came and told you about this guy, your stance was, whatever girl, I'm married to God. Mm-hmm. I share a similar testimony in that when Rodney came into my life, I was very apprehensive myself. I wasn't really looking. Yeah. We weren't really looking at that time. We had devoted ourselves, we had set ourselves apart. I had recently actually come out of a relationship when Rodney had come into my life. So I had committed myself to just serving God for a period. I wanted out of the game. I'd been in the game since I was...
Boy. ...
Exactly. And I just wanted to enjoy some singlehood and just find myself and just serve God and just marry him and know him for myself and just have a really good relationship with him. Right? And it's interesting that when you reach that point, that's when you're ready. And so I want to actually encourage women who are desiring to marry not to focus on finding a man.
Yeah.
Because if you really want God's best, you will let him bring the guy he has for you. And that means you're not a part of that setup. He will divinely orchestrate it for you. Look at how Priscilla went out somewhere and was like, that's the guy for Roslyn, hooked it up. And you weren't in control of that.
No.
It was God that prompted Priscilla. It was God that prompted Michael to keep pushing.
Yeah.
With getting connected with you in the first place, and then all these dates. It was all orchestrated by God. All she was doing was just seeking God.
That's right.
For herself. And it was the same for me. When Rodney came into my life, I was actually a bit reluctant. I didn't want to push things through. Rodney, apologies, is my husband.
Yeah.
I just started throwing his name in without telling him. But Rodney's my husband. I got married a year ago now. And at some point, we will go more into that. But we're talking about Roslyn at the moment. So yeah, I just wanted to make that point to anybody waiting. Devote yourself to God.
Yeah.
Make God your husband first.
Correct. Make him your number one.
Make him your number one. So that he can then align you. And all of this is preparation. All that singlehood time, all that time of being single and being devoted to God and getting and building yourself spiritually is all a preparation to be the wife that he's called you to be.
Yeah, I'll just add to that and saying that during my times of singlehood, I was learning so much about myself. So I couldn't allow a man to come in to damage that, because God, although I was praying, I was doing certain things in an order where I was learning about who I was and what I actually did like. Because it's so easy for you to find a man and then a man can change you, or you know, and I'm not saying change is not good. I'm saying change is good, but then you want change in a good way that's going to enhance you in terms of for a lifetime, or it could be even your ministry later. Like the way God sees you is how your man should be able to birth that. So you know, I'm so grateful for that I got that opportunity in that time to study who Roslyn was. Yeah, so that's
amazing. I see what you mean. So you're saying that that time where you spend with God, by yourself as a single woman, is then God revealing his purpose for you, his ministry, what he has in store, so that when a man comes in, he doesn't just come in and change the whole course of your life, but because you've heard from God as to what it is you need to do in this life and what you've been put on this earth to do, what your gifts and your talents are to share with the world, when that man comes in, he will then enhance it.
Correct.
He will then nurture it.
Yes.
He will then push you in that direction rather than come in and be like, this is what we're doing now. Right?
That's right.
Because we do appreciate that the man is the head.
Of course, yeah.
But that's why it's so important that you submit to the right head.
That's correct.
And that's why it's important you marry a man of purpose, one that God has purposed for you to be with. So marriage is not all about love, it's about purpose. Because that person you submit to is going to be the leader of that relationship, who will then steer it according to the purpose that God has for you. So if you go and marry the wrong one, your whole purpose could be blown off course or delayed or just made harder, because that purpose was not aligned for you. He was not the person that God has equipped and empowered.
That's correct.
To lead the marriage and therefore your purpose in life. It's deep. It's deep. So marriage is not all about love, guys. It's about purpose.
That's Raquel.
This girl right here just makes me so happy, because she's walking in so much purpose. When you meet this man, when you meet Mike, we might have to get these fellas on the show.
I know. I think if you'll see, he would be squeezed. He would be trying to push himself.
You know?
Back.
I know.
And Rodney would just be.
When you meet Mikey, he's just so lovely. He adores her. He literally worships the ground she walks on. There's nothing. He's set up the thing so well. And I mean, I told Roslyn, if she ever turns around to me and says, you know, God is not good, or I'm tired of this life, I will slap her. Because delay has left her.
Amen.
Delay is so far from her.
Amen.
When you see acceleration, if you know how this whole marriage is being set up as we speak, where is he right now? Like, let's not even go into that. Like, the girl is just gonna walk into the marriage. Everything has been done by God's grace.
Amen.
There is no such thing as delay in this girl's life. It's just everything has been accelerated and it's just beautiful and magnificent.
Oh, hallelujah.
To the grace of God.
Hallelujah.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
Is awesome.
He can move mountains, keep me in the valley, and hide me from the rain.
Wow! That's her! We could just break out and worship like that.
You, we can go on and on and on and on and on.
Literally, and just bring the spirit down in this place.
God is awesome.
God is awesome. So, to my sisters watching, be encouraged. Be encouraged. If you are at a place where you want to explore God because things ain't looking right in your life, something is not right somewhere within yourself, your circumstances, take that step.
Amen.
And just go for it. This girl is a testimony. Look, she glowing. She looked like a wife. The spirit of the wife is upon her. This is to the doing of God. Check out the ring. Show them the ring. Show them the ring. Show them. See, we haven't even gone into the proposal. We need to get this girl back on because there's so much that we haven't even covered.
We hope you've been blessed by our 2-part series interview with Miss Roslyn Quaidoo. Thank you so much for locking in to Hello Sisters TV.